Hello everyone. So, in last class we derived the Orr-Sommerfeld equation using linear stability analysis. In today's class, first we will write the non-dimensional form of this Orr-Sommerfeld equation, then we will discuss about the viscous stability, and then we will discuss about the stability map. So, first let us write down the Orr-Sommerfeld equation which we derived in last class. So, it was u bar minus c bar v double prime bar minus alpha bar square v bar minus u double prime bar v bar is equal to minus I nu bar by alpha bar v bar 4 prime minus 2 alpha bar square v double prime bar plus alpha to the power 4 v bar. Okay. So, you know that here c bar is the wave propagation speed and alpha bar is the wave number, and this double prime is the second derivative and u double prime is d2 u bar by dy square. So, now let us use these non-dimensional parameters to non-dimensionalize the Orr-Sommerfeld equation. So, we will use these non-dimensional parameters. So, u we will write as u bar by some u reference. Okay. So, if it is flow over a flat plate, we will use u infinity, v is equal to v bar by u reference, c is equal to c bar by u reference, and y we will just denote as non-dimensional y, and if y bar is the dimensional y divided by we will use the displacement thickness delta star. Okay. So, delta star is displacement thickness. Okay. So, here we are using y as non-dimensional parameter, that is why we have written y bar by delta star. So, length scale or reference length is delta star we are using, okay, and alpha we will write as alpha bar delta star. So, this alpha is non-dimensional wave number and this c is non-dimensional wave propagation speed. So, using this reference velocity and this reference length scale, we will define Reynolds number as Re based on delta star is equal to u reference delta star divided by nu bar. Okay. So, using this non-dimensional parameter, you can convert this Orr-Sommerfeld equation in non-dimensional form as u minus c v double prime minus alpha square v minus u double prime v is equal to minus I alpha Re based on delta star v 4 prime minus 2 alpha square v double prime plus alpha to the power 4 v. So, now to solve this non-dimensional Orr-Sommerfeld equation, we need 4 boundary conditions, right, because it is linear fourth order ordinary differential equation. So, we need 4 boundary conditions. So, you can see that all the disturbances should go to 0 at the wall if you are considering boundary layer flow, and y tends to infinity also these all disturbances should go to 0. So, from here using the continuity equation we can write the 4 boundary conditions. So, we have these boundary conditions. So, if we consider boundary layer problem, then the disturbances you can write at y is equal to 0, v is equal to 0, and at y tends to infinity these disturbances also will go to 0. Now, use the continuity equation. Okay. Continuity equation. So, if you remember we have derived I alpha bar u bar plus v prime bar is equal to 0. Okay. So, if we use this continuity equation, from here you can see that these velocity disturbances u also will be 0 at the wall. So, from here you can see that v prime will be 0 at the wall as well as at y tends to infinity. Okay. From this equation you can see that the disturbances of u also must be 0, right, at the wall and at y tends to infinity. So, that means here we can write v prime also 0 and v prime as 0. Okay. So, we need to solve this fourth order ordinary differential equation along with these 4 boundary conditions. For other problem you can write the boundary conditions suitably. So, you can see that Orde-Sommerfeld equation and boundary conditions are homogeneous, because you can see from these 2 equations. Therefore, we are dealing with an eigenvalue problem. Note that non-trivial eigenfunctions V y exist only for certain combinations of omega, alpha, Re for a given mean flow u y. Okay. So, now let us discuss about the temporal instability, where we will see that omega is known. Okay. So, in temporal instability now we assume alpha as real. Okay. And if we write omega is equal to alpha c, then c is complex. Okay. So, you can see that wave propagation speed c is complex, and we assume alpha as real and it is specified. Okay. So, you can see that in order to find eigenfunctions v and the complex wave speed c on the eigenvalue, this alpha has to be specified. So, we are assuming alpha as real and omega is complex. So, as alpha is real, c has to be complex. Okay. So, as omega is complex and alpha is real, then c has to be complex. So, if you remember that we have written omega is equal to alpha into c, right. Now, we can write this as omega r plus I omega I. So, this is the real part and this is the imaginary part. So, and c as complex, so we can write C r plus I C I. Okay. If you remember that we have used v tilde as v, which is function of y e to the power I alpha x e to the power minus I omega t. So, here omega is complex, so that you can substitute and we can write it as e to the power I alpha x e to the power minus I omega r plus I omega I. Okay. So, you can see that this will become minus I omega r, and that we can club with this. So, it will be e to the power I alpha x minus C r into t. So, we have written omega r is equal to alpha into C r. Okay. So, alpha is real, right. So, this we can write, and obviously you can see that we have this I and this I, it will be I square, and I square is minus 1. So, this will become plus. So, you can write e to the power alpha C I t, okay, because omega I is alpha C I, right. So, we can write e to the power alpha C I t. So, you can see that this term, okay, it represents the temporal instability, Okay. So, it will determine whether it will be stable or unstable. So, which one will determine here? C I will determine, right. If C I greater than 0, if C I greater than 0, from here you can see that it will be omega will be greater than 0, that means you will be growth in time, right, growth in time. So, this term so we will get temporal instability. Okay. And if C I less than 0, okay, that means omega I less than 0, from here you can see that if C I is less than 0, omega is less than 0. So, you can see that it will be it will decay in time, right. So, this term will decay in time. So, that means it is a temporal stability. Okay. So, you can see that temporal analysis predicts behaviors at t tends to infinity in given initial disturbances of alpha, okay, where alpha r is not equal to 0 and alpha I is 0, because we have assumed that alpha is real. So, there is another type of instability that is known as a special instability, where omega is real. Okay. So, now we will consider omega as real and omega is specified. So, here omega is real and it is specified. So, we can write omega is equal to alpha into C, where alpha is complex. Okay. So, alpha is equal to alpha r plus I alpha I, and C is equal to C r. So, this is real part and this is the imaginary part. So, now we can write V tilde is equal to V, which is function of y, e to the power I alpha x, e to the power minus I omega t. So, what we will do now? We will just substitute this alpha by this expression. Okay. So, we can write V e to the power I. So, now alpha we can write alpha r plus I alpha I x e to the power minus I omega t. So, now we can rearrange and write as e to the power I alpha r x, and this we are taking here. So, it will be minus omega t, and here we have I square alpha I x, and I square is equal to minus 1. So, we can write e to the power minus alpha I x. So, you can see that this term will determine whether the disturbance will grow or decay, right. So, this is your spatial growth rate. So, you can see that if alpha I is less than 0 means growth of disturbances, and if alpha I greater than 0, so it means that it is decay of disturbances. Okay. So, obviously, you can see that this will lead to spatial instability, and this will lead to spatial stability. And if alpha and omega are both real, then the disturbances propagates through the parallel basic flow with constant amplitude V y, and alpha and omega are both complex, the disturbance amplitude will vary in both time and space. So, we are more interested in neutral stability. So, for that, if C I is equal to 0 for the temporal case and alpha is equal to 0 for the spatial neutral growth, and if we plot this C I is equal to 0, the locus of these neutral points form the boundary between stability and instability in the stability maps. So, you can see that in both the cases we can draw the stability map, but it is more convenient to use the spatial amplification theory, since the amplitude change of disturbance with distance can be measured in a steady mean flow. So, now we will discuss about the neutral curves of the Orr-Sommerfeld equation putting C I is equal to 0. So, both the cases we will consider. One is viscous stability, where we will consider the boundary layer equation where dP by dx is 0, and we will discuss about the inviscid instability, okay, where dP by dx is greater than 0, and more detail we will discuss in the next class about the inviscid stability. So, you can see we have plotted this in x axis Reynolds number based on delta star, and in y axis alpha into delta star, where delta star is the displacement thickness. Now, for inviscid flow, if you plot this C I is equal to 0, so this is the curve, okay, where obviously dP by dx is greater than 0, and if you plot this curve, so you can see that this is having the shape of thumb. So, this is known as thumb curve as well, and you can see that outside this curve, okay, the flow is stable, and inside this curve it is unstable. Okay. So, we can see that there is a critical Reynolds number for this inviscid flow, after which this become unstable. And if you see this curve, okay, so as Reynolds number tends to infinity, this will not meet. Okay. So, for Reynolds number tends to infinity, the flow will be unstable. Now, if you consider the special case flow over flat plate where dP by dx is 0. Okay. So, this is the Blasius solution, and if you plot C I is equal to 0 curve, okay, so this is the neutral curve. So, you can see that it is having a critical Reynolds number, okay, below which anyway it is stable. Okay, this is stable, and After this critical Reynolds number, it is unstable. Okay. If you carefully look here, okay, so if you go RE tends to infinity, that means if you go along the x axis, then somewhere these two curve will meet, and after that it will become stable, because obviously inside this thumb curve we have an unstable region, but if you go very far away in the x direction, that means RE tends to infinity, then this will become stable. And you can see that this is the viscous neutral curve, and when you go increasing dp by dx, then obviously you will get a inviscid neutral curve, and you can see for RE tends to infinity this will remain unstable. And obviously you can see that there will be no point of inflection in case of this Blasius neutral curve, but there will be point of inflection for this inviscid neutral curve. So, you can see that this critical Reynolds number will be 520 for this Blasius flow, and corresponding alpha delta star will be 0.3. So, if you calculate this wavelength of this unstable mode, then you can see that wavelength will be lambda is equal to twice pi by alpha. So, we will get twice pi delta star by 0.3, it will be around 18 delta star, and in terms of boundary layer thickness, if you write convert the delta star to boundary layer thickness for the Blasius flow, then it will be 6 delta. Okay. So, you can see the first unstable wave has a very long wavelength, okay, and the boundary layer is always stable to short wavelength. So, in today's class, first we wrote the non-dimensional form of the Wood-Sommerfeld equation, and we defined the Reynolds number based on the reference velocity u reference and the reference length as displacement thickness delta star. Then we discussed about the temporal instability, where alpha is specified and alpha is real. Then we discuss about the spatial instability, where omega is real and omega is specified. After that we discussed about the neutral map, where we have plotted the Ci is equal to 0 for spatial instability, and we have shown the thumb curve in the xy plot, where in x direction we have used Reynolds number based on the displacement thickness, and in y direction we have alpha into delta star. For Blasius flow, when dp by dx is 0, so we have the critical Reynolds number as 520 and corresponding alpha delta star is 0.3, and you can see that for inviscid stability for Ci is equal to 0, the critical Reynolds number is lesser than the critical Reynolds number for viscous stability. For inviscid stability, if RE tends to infinity, obviously the flow will remain unstable. However, for boundary layer flow, we have seen that as RE tends to infinity, the flow will become stable. Thank you.